Mandana asked how important is the New York of the New York school, both as setting and as like an identifier for these poets. Malika asked, what are the importance of outliers for this classification that we're making? Who's slightly outside of it? How do we deal with that? Do these people see themselves as being in that classification? And that question is also echoed by Shirley.
Okay. Shirley Collins, Malika Dar James. So, Davey, you think about cities and poetry all the time. You want to start, and then maybe we'll go to Erica Kaufman, who knows New York pretty well and might have something to say about the relationship between the New York School and New York. And also, I should point out, oh, hey, Max, I should also point out that Erica, it really, really, really likes the New York School style as a teachable thing, and also that has influenced her own poetry. So, Dave, you want to start?
Sure thing. One thing that I think about when I'm reading New York School poets, which is something I do a lot, there's some of my very favorite work, is that the New York School poets are writing in the 50s and 60s while two other things are happening. One of those things is abstract expressionism, and the other is urban renewal. So New York City, this is Robert Moses's moment, and so expressways are being built and fought, 500 parks are being built. The scale of New York is really changing, and so it's helpful for me to think about the New York of the New York School as one that's like radically under siege. There's a ton of government money to rebuild the city, and just like what it means to walk around New York City is something that's changing all the time. Everything's under construction. It's like a really frenetic moment. And these are poems that are walking around with a changing self in a changing place. And that's something that feels helpful, just to think about a city that's totally being reimagined as these poems are being written.
Right. So the style is contemporaneous with this.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what is the poem this week? Anyone? What poem this week best exemplifies the poet marveling at what's going on in New York? Anybody? Lily?
I think A Step Away from Them by Frank O'Hara.
That's the one, isn't it?
Yeah, because it's basically a catalog that, it's like something between a catalog and a map of the area he's marking out with his body during his lunch break, of all the things he's seeing. And that includes buildings and people and different cultures that he can see out on the street. Like, it's very... That mode is something that if you applied that mode to a different non-urban setting, it would become a nature poem, or become just a different kind of poem that wouldn't be about people. You wouldn't be seeing so much as you walked in a suburban setting or a rural setting.
Yeah, great. Thank you. That is the poem, so I urge everybody to look at that. Erica Kaufman, do you want to say something about the relationship between this particular style and New York City?
I think that Davey said it really well. I think that the style embodies the city, and I have a really strong memory of one of the first times I read Frank O'Hara. I was in MFA school, and my teacher took us on a walk, and we wrote walk poems as we were reading Frank O'Hara, and we walked to one of his old apartments on University Place. And it was a moment where I really noticed how much is happening around you at all times, kind of like Stein's continuous present. But what I think the New York School writers do is that they give us a sense of what their world was like by putting it all in the poem.